Many of them were older than me. Many of them came from Spain, and they were very nice people. But I remember when you run in certain places, people can tease you. People can say things, even here, once in a while, if I run very early on a Saturday morning, sometimes the people that are walking out in the street, they're coming back from whatever party they had in the French Quarter Friday night. And I can sense sometimes they resent a little bit that someone is running that early in the morning. I maybe feel a little bit sometimes that there may be a little jealousy there because they know that they should be taking care of themselves. And these people that I used to run with, once in a while, just not to make a big deal out of running, when they would ask them, "Why do you run? Why do you run so much?" They would answer something like, "So that I can drink, eat, and smoke more." Not that they did it, but it was a way of getting rid of some people that they just wanted to tease them or bother them. And we know Thanksgiving, originally, it was a lot connected with not only food, because certainly today we connect it with food. I'm sure we're going to have our share of good eating today, God willing. But it was really connected with the harvest and the time of harvest and the gathering of the harvest. And even though we eat today, we certainly have lost a little bit of the connection to that original motivation. It was a thankful day, not because people were getting together, but because they were thankful for the harvest. They were thankful for something that many times could be unpredictable. And now they could come together and gather the fruit of the land and share a meal together. Today, we certainly have the aspect of Thanksgiving very much infused into the celebration today, but we lose connection perhaps to the simple things. And what really got this whole celebration started was a coming together of people at a time when perhaps conflict was more at hand. So it was kind of like beating the odds. Instead of being in conflict, let's eat together and thank God for the blessings we have received. And I think that as we meditate on that, and certainly as our city, as we begin this new year in the church, as we begin Advent very soon, we're going to soon start hearing a lot, we haven't heard already, that our city turns 300 years. So New Orleans will be 300 years old. New Orleans was founded in 1718. And again, if we pay attention to history, there has been the same problem that the early people that began this celebration had, where conflict was there at hand, but they chose to do something different. They chose to come together and celebrate. In the midst of their diversity, differences, perhaps conflicts motivated by unreasonable things, they could find in their common humanity that there was something to celebrate. And I think that's a challenge for us. In the history of our country, we've had many ugly chapters. In the history of the church, we've had many ugly chapters, but the real thing that has always brought us back together is finding in our common humanity, in our common sonship and daughtership in God, that really supersedes everything else. There has been discrimination and problems all throughout history, even Scripture. In the Gospel today, we hear about Elizabeth and Mary, the beautiful passage of the visitation of Mary to Elizabeth. But if you think about it, Elizabeth was mocked and ostracized and put aside and discriminated against because she was old and barren. She couldn't have a child, and then God intercedes. But you can feel everything that she must have gone through because of that discrimination. Mary, in the eyes of the world, is an unwed mother. And you can feel what she went through because of that event in her life.